It's a project about creating a new local brand on ecotourism, engaging with the members of the value chain to make it attractive for a potential target, for its sustainable projects and practices and customized service developed on the 4 inhabited islands in Galapagos. So for this project, we started gathering information involving the local members in order to have the information about how much revenue is actually getting Galapagos with the tourism coming to the islands, and how much actually the local-based tourism could be contributing to the islands. Because as you might know, in Galapagos, most of the tourism visiting the islands are usually taking the tourism on board. And our project is actually developing or targeting people who would be interested on coming to the islands, the inhabited islands, and share its visit with the local inhabitants and also the culture. So for this, we have developed or created a logo, which is this one, in order to identify the 4 inhabited islands and to represent them inside the Galapagos archipelago. So according to our project, we were also developing surveys to different type of tourists coming here to the islands in order to know what they were thinking or if they were supporting our initiative to create this new brand in order to promote local-based tourism. After the survey, most of the people who were interviewed, and actually all of them, were really satisfied or interested on the probability or possibility to implement this new initiative in order to bring the tourism to the inhabited islands and not only on board the cruises.
I'm Rory. He is our interviewer for this occasion. Rory, what activities would you like to implement in Galapagos?
I think it would be a really good idea to have something to orientate the tourists who come to the island. I know I have found it quite difficult to know where everything is on all the different islands, and it would be good to just kind of have a quick have somebody maybe at the port when you get off the boat to say this is a good place to snorkel, even this is a good place to have dinner, it has cheap food, something like that. I found that quite difficult, and even the maps that are provided I don't feel that they give enough information.
Would you be interested in supporting community tourists as accommodations and family dinners to meet the Galapagos culture?
I would. One thing I've noticed since I've been here is that the islands don't seem to have I don't know what the island's culture is. It seems very heavily based in tourism, and it looks like it's just the people on the island exist solely for the tourism, and the culture doesn't really permeate through for the tourists.
Thank you. Do you find interesting the name Galapagos Breeding Community and a logo to advise on ecotourism programs in Galapagos on our web page? This is a logo for our project. Galapagos Creating Community. What do you think about the concept to express this logo?
I like it because it's obviously got all the islands, and the circle design makes it seem all-encompassing, which obviously a community should be. And the speech bubbles, conversation, creating community through conversation. I like it.
Would you use the service of Creating Community Galapagos to organize for further trips in Galapagos?
For sure, especially if something like point 2 was implemented, so something to more engage with the community. If it was all available on the website, it would be a really good resource to use as a tourist. So I would use it.
And the last question is recommendations and suggestions about this project.
Nothing specifically, just make sure it's very user-friendly, easy for the tourists to use. We like things to be readily available. We don't have to like to work for our information on holidays. And yeah, just essentially that.
Thank you.
That's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. So what activities would you like to be implemented in Galapagos?
That's a great question. Well, we had a good time doing the snorkeling and the diving already, but I think other water activities would be a lot of fun to be a little bit more implemented. I know parasailing is very popular. I don't know if that's here at all. That's one thing I can think of.
Yeah, I'm personally do kiteboarding. So there's lots of great wind around here, and I know there's surfing available on some of the beaches, but I guess I haven't really read any more information about being able to use the beaches for kiteboarding as well. Another great thing would be we did have an opportunity to do a little bit of hiking with some of the local people, and maybe just having more of a map of saying where you can go, even that's outside of the national park.
Where do you think it would be useful to find that map, for example? Right here at the pier, or in a specific institution, or where?
I mean, obviously the pier here is going to be the most accessible for everybody, but I guess if there was something that was close by for an institution as well, that would be fine. As long as there's good signage, that's the biggest thing for foreign speakers, I guess, like ourselves. We don't speak a whole lot of English, so.
Really good advice. And also, even though it's a national park, I think that both activities you are actually offering or promoting, actually, they are not, they would not be damaging the environment at all. So that sounds really fun. Thank you. So, would you be interested in supporting community tourism? Talking about accommodations and family dinners, joining family dinners, for example, to meet our Galapagos culture?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting.
Fun evening.
And do you think that coming to Galapagos and also being able to meet a little bit of not only the nature but also the cultural side of the islands would be appealing for you as tourists?
Yeah, I think so. I think if the setting was very inviting, not necessarily just going into just something that's totally blind, but having a little bit of information, obviously, beforehand, and having a specific evening that you can line up to go to, say, a dinner or a lunch with the local family, and having maybe someone who's associated with the local community tourism there with you would be really.
Explaining what are going to be the topics you're going to be talking about or the activities that we're hosting. Thank you. So, do you find interesting the name Galapagos Creating Community to advise ecotourism programs in Galapagos on a webpage?
Would that be a good name for
Uh-huh.
the webpage? Yeah. It seems pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Right away, that's what you're looking at, and it's displayed properly. Yeah, I think that would be good.
So you make straight the link between Galapagos, of course, and also the population of itself, and not just nature, right?
Right, and there's the separation from, say, the other tourist boats that are solely part of the national park. You're separating that.
Therefore, would you use the service of Creating Community Galapagos to organize your further trips in Galapagos to have a positive experience?
If it was implemented, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think a lot of what travelers do nowadays is so much based on the internet and what they can find, and so I know a lot of people don't necessarily have all the money to go onto the ferry boats and do the, say, 7-day trip or 15-day trip all around the islands, but if they can be a little bit more on a budget for their time away, that they would be much more interested in coming to a little bit more of a remote place like the Galapagos.
Right, and if that was something that was advertised in travel agencies, that you could immediately book a trip to the Galapagos and then know that that association would help them find activities.
The islands, or at least 4 of them, are inhabited.
Right.
You just find pictures about animals, and then you immediately associate just with the service of tourism on board with the cruises, either 4 days, starting from 4 days up to 15 days, which is the round trip. So, but once you have the other option, then you realize that budget, or according to
we actually met a couple of Parisian travelers just the other day. They were coming in from the airport, and they only had, I think, what was it, 5 days total.
They had
And one of those was traveling, so they just wanted to know, what can I do here, but I don't have a lot of money. And so obviously they can't go out for that week-long tour into the national park, so having something available for them at the airport or at a ferry post like this.
Or on a webpage already beforehand you come.
That they could have already looked at and
organized.
planned every day.
That's
Do
right.
this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they just came here blindly, just knowing that they wanted to be here.
So the fifth question actually is connected to the one before. So recommendations and suggestions for this project?
I think getting the community network is going to be the biggest part. Having something, having your side of things is very streamlined, and having, say, for the dinners or something, having the places set up already and not kind of in shambles in a way, making sure it's very easy and smooth, so those first people that are getting in and using the community are giving good response and good feedback is going to be the biggest thing.
Or an easily displayed web page that lists every activity that you can do, so you can pinpoint where they are on what island and how long it generally takes to do one activity or another.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I have 5 questions for our study. What activities would you like to implement in Galapagos?
I think there are already a lot of interesting activities, but they are not promoted as they could be. Like, for instance, kayak or surf or like going on the boat to Isla Lobos or something. But I think you have mostly to focus on promoting these activities. Also, it would be nice like to have tours around those beaches here, because especially if you come alone, you will find like a lot to do.
Would you be interested in supporting Equestrians community as accommodation and family dinner activities in Galapagos culture?
Yeah, for me it sounds really nice because you get to know the culture. So then you want to come back, and like you already have someone to get in touch with. But like how you establish all the process, like, sounds good.
You find interested in the Galapagos breeding community at to advise on ecotourism programs in Galapagos on a webpage?
I think you could work on it. I don't really like it very much, but I think you could work on it because the colors and like the shape. I know it's the Galapagos Island, but I think you could like, do a better job there. And also the name is more like a slogan. So if you find like a better name, like a catchy name, and then work with this as a slogan, it will be fine.
Would you use a service of creating community Galapagos to organize for other trips in Galapagos?
For what?
For other trips?
Okay, yeah, because especially this idea of getting with families and staying overnight there sounds really good. I think it would depend on the cost and everything, but it sounds interesting.
Thank you. And the last question,
Well, yeah.
recommendations or suggestions for this project?
Like, for instance, for the logo, you could like hire or get in touch with a graphic designer, for instance, and then I think the approach you are taking now, like approaching the tourists directly is the one that would work the most. Also, it would be nice to have like some idea of the price, right? Because I don't think it would be like for free. So yeah, the price would be nice. I think that's it.
Thank you,
I
guys.
just have to think about it.
Thank you for the collaboration.
It's fine. You're welcome.
Good morning. So, the first question, what activities would you like to be implemented in Galapagos?
Discover the landscape, see new animals, go snorkeling.
Besides the one.
It could be more inland tourists, to be honest. Most is based on water tourism, as far as I reckon. So it must be more interesting to see more of the landscape and land animals itself than just, sea lions, turtles, and fish and the like. It'll be improved in my eyes.
Would you be interested in supporting community tourism as accommodations, for example, or having dinners with the Galapagos locals?
That'd be interesting to see more of the local culture and not just like this tourism culture, just put a hotel somewhere and put people there, go out, do a tour, come back, leave. So you don't really get the feeling for what the community or like the culture of life here is. As we actually do, we try to stay with hostels owned by like families, and right now we're staying in a place owned by an old couple, and it's quite nice so to talk to them and get some like information from the people. So a dinner's would be interesting as well to get, as we try to get this like local place, not the restaurants, to get food and see what is done here and how people live.
Do you find interesting the name Galapagos Creating Community and the logo, which is this one?
Yeah, it's quite nice.
To advise an ecotourism program in Galapagos on a webpage. Find it catchy or what would you recommend?
It's catchy, so I'm not sure what it actually means if I look at it. It's like, I don't know.
It's like it's a circle.
A
Every
circle.
island is.
These are the 4 inhabited islands.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a spot showing you which are the 4 inhabited
Okay.
islands. Since Galapagos is a protected area, but actually you do have 4 islands which are inhabited. So that's populated.
Okay.
Would you use the service of Galapagos Creating Community to organize your further trips in Galapagos?
Sure. I think it's important to let the local community get something out of the tourism, because that's what gets money in, I would guess, mainly here, right? So they should benefit and be part of it, and not being outside of it.
So recommendations and suggestions, please?
Well, support the local community input or communication, or whatever you would say, with the tourism. It's very nice. It gets more information for people, from the local people, than just having a guide on a boat, which are local people as far as I know, but it's much more interesting to have the all-over experience of the local community.
Real perspective.
And not just like this, getting a peek into it, but
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Okay, thank you.